Zack, Dakota, Randall here at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. Following the Patriots' 17-14 win over the Steelers, the Patriots' first victory of the season pushes their record back to 500 here in Week 2. Not the prettiest of games, not the prettiest of victories, I would say, for the Patriots. There's certainly a lot of things they're going to have to work on and improve after this game. But a win is a win. The Patriots desperately needed a win in this game with a difficult schedule coming up, and they were able to pull out one here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big win, obviously not pretty. A lot of ugly stuff. I don't love the way Mac Jones played in this game. There were some good things. There were some really concerning plays from him. So I'm sure that'll be a topic of discussion. Really great game from Nelson Agholor. I think one of the real takeaways from this, though, is the way the Patriots finished. Yeah. Seems like it's been a while, especially against a respectable opponent. The Jaguars last season don't count, where the Patriots were able to really, exert the will at the end of a game and finish the game on their terms, kneel at the clock. They got some good running plays there at the end to sort of ice the game away. So that was good to see. The defense really stepped up in the fourth quarter. So a good team win, but like you said, a lot of stuff to clean up, a lot of penalties, but a good win.
That fourth quarter as a whole, I think, was probably the most encouraging stretch here for the Patriots on both sides of the ball, because the Patriots offense held the ball for the final 6 minutes and 33 seconds of this game. Some really hard running by Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson to bleed the rest of that clock out. And defensively, they held the Steelers to 2 3-and-outs on their final 2 possessions. This obviously is a Steelers offense that does not rank among the NFL's most prolific, certainly with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. But it was as you mentioned, the fact that they were able to finish this game strong when they really haven't been able to do that in so many of their previous games, certainly a positive sign. But you did mention Mac Jones' performance in this game. I thought this was a pretty shaky game overall for the Patriots' second-year quarterback. He had 1 interception, should have had another one. There was one dropped by a Steelers defensive back. Also seemed to miss some open receivers on at least 3 or 4 plays, including Lil Jordan Humphrey on one that might have gone for a touchdown. He was wide open downfield. Didn't seem like Mac Jones saw him on that play. He also had a intentional grounding penalty. A lot of just kind of uncharacteristic errors from what we saw from Mac Jones last year. It just seems like the player and the passer that he is so far this year just really isn't in line with a lot of the expectations that people had for him coming into this year. Obviously very early, still learning the new offense and whatnot, but hasn't been the year 2 jump so far for Mac Jones that a lot of people were expecting.
No, I think he was shaky in this game. It definitely wasn't one of his best games. Like you mentioned, he missed open receivers. He threw that bad interception. Should have been a second interception. Just wasn't overall an encouraging performance from him. I'd say the Patriots won this game in spite of him. I don't think he willed them to victory by any means. The last drive was really about the running game. So that was a concern. I think another concern for me, again, overall a good performance from the defense, but against a really bad offense. I mean, this was 2 bad, struggling offenses going against each other. It wasn't pretty. But regardless, the Patriots in the first half, at one point, I think the Steelers were 7 for 9 on third down. Some of those were long pickups too. So you wonder, if the Patriots can get that cleaned up before they face some good offenses going against Baltimore next week, and that's a concern. And then also, I would say some of the penalties for the offensive line, just a concern. We've seen that a lot with the Patriots get things going on offense, get a good drive going, and then they go backwards because of a holding penalty, a delay of game penalty, which isn't necessarily on the offensive line, false starts. There was more of that in this game. So definitely some things to be discouraged by from this game.
Yeah, 3 holding penalties, 2 of them coming from offensive linemen, also 2 false starts.
Yeah, but they could have been called for more false starts. Trent Brown got away with 2 clear ones. There was another one in there too from somebody.
The Steelers defenders weren't particularly pleased about those plays.
Neither were the fans,
that was for sure. But overall, I do think it was an improvement from the offensive line in this game, especially against a defense that was as talented as the Steelers defense. Didn't have TJ Watt, but there's still a lot of very good players, very good pass rushers on this team. Mac Jones said that offensive line played amazing in this game. I might not go that far, but I think it was a step in the right direction. Also encouraging, as you mentioned, to see the performances from Jacoby Myers, from Nelson Agholor in this game. Still waiting for that Mac Jones-Devontae Parker connection to click. So far through 2 games, Mac Jones on passes from Mac Jones to Devontae Parker, there have been more interceptions 2 than receptions 1. Yeah. So that connection certainly has not really manifested itself yet so far through 2 games.
No. It's been a bit of a struggle. I think, like you said, Devontae Parker now 4 targets thrown his way, 1 reception, 2 interceptions. They couldn't connect on a third down, I think, during the fourth quarter. It looked like there was a play to be made. Hard to tell if it was an underthrow from Mac or Parker kind of slipped on the play. But either way, they really haven't gotten things going. Little Jordan Humphrey has as many catches this season as Devontae Parker, so that's not a good sign either. But again, on the positive side for the receiving group, huge game from Nelson Aguilar. His first game over 100 yards for the Patriots. He obviously made the play of the game, not counting the Gunnar Olszewski muff punt, but he made the play of the game with that 44-yard touchdown at the end of the first half, and then another just typical Jacoby Myers game. I think he had 95 yards, just tough, consistent. He did leave the game with what looked like an injury later in the game. Looked to be the same knee that's been bothering him over the last few weeks. We talked to him in the locker room after the game. He said he was fine. He had a big ice pack on the knee, but he didn't indicate that it was anything serious, so we'll have to monitor that going forward. But another huge game for him.
Yep. Also a lot more Kendrick Bourne in this game than we saw last week. He had a couple catches, a couple first downs, also another one that was called back for a holding penalty. So
I will say one other area of concern for the passing game, though, still really nothing going on with the tight ends. I don't think Hunter Henry had a catch. I don't know if John Smith did.
Zero catches on 4 targets for the Patriots, 2 tight ends. Also a lot less 12 personnel than we saw last week. A lot less of Henry and Smith on the field together. But I think the pivotal play in this game was the one that you mentioned. Outside of the Aguilar touchdown, it was the muff punt by Gunnar Olszewski. Old friend Gunnar Olszewski playing against his former team for the first time. Said this week that he was hyper motivated for this game, that he wanted to show out against his former team, the team that, quote, did not want him in free agency because they did not offer him a restricted free agent tender. And he has the muff punt, leads to what proves to be the game-winning touchdown for the Patriots. And obviously not the reunion that Gunnar Olszewski was hoping for here.
No, not at all. And you feel bad for him because he was clearly really fired up for this game. He was one of the first guys on the field before kickoff, running through drills, working on stuff. And then the first punt return that he got his hands on, muffed it. Biggest play of the game against his former team. It's tough. It's hard to get much worse than that.
Yep, Damian Harris scored a touchdown a couple plays later, and that proved to be the difference in this game, which again the Patriots won 17-14 to improve to 1-1 on the season. They will be back in action next Sunday in their home opener against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.